You might not remember his name, but he remembers yours. Some called him a heretic because they were afraid of the body. Others labeled him crazy because they never truly lived with awareness. Some erased him from history, trying to force the soul to age just by the calendar. His name was Rejuvenate. He disappeared the night the torches in Avelion's inner library went out, as if silence itself had swallowed them. There was no trial or persecution, just a firm decision. What he wrote was not meant to be known, because if it became known, time would lose its control over the human body. Rejuvenate didn't talk about spells or rituals. He talked about energetic memory, the forgotten science that connects our thoughts, our bodies, our breath, and even our DNA. His handwritten notes, written with ink that still seems to glow mysteriously, shared one bold idea. The body doesn't actually age. It just reacts to an internal signal that can be changed. He didn't prove this with miracles, but with deep spiritual understanding. Breathing techniques that change your body's chemistry, visualizations that can heal your skin, and words that wake up the hidden youth inside every cell. He called this embodied quantum biology. But to people who didn't understand inner vibration, it sounded dangerous. A challenge to the modern belief that aging and loss are inevitable. Rejuvenate vanished, but his writings didn't. And now, you're opening them. It's no accident, no entertainment. You're drawn here because something inside you, something old and never really gone, is ready to remember. This book isn't just a guide, it's a reset for your energy. Every word is meant to cut through the noise and speak straight to the living core of who you are. Here, you'll learn that you are not your age, your medical conditions, or your genes. You are the energy you carry, the images you create in your mind, the quiet space inside you, and all of this can be changed from within. Take a deep breath. Something brought you here, and it's not something outside of you. It's your body remembering it was never meant to fade away. This is the secret that was never supposed to be shared. This is the map many have searched for, but only those who have quietly cried in front of a mirror can truly understand. Chapter 1. The body doesn't age. Only the light fades. There was a time when trees didn't count their lives by seasons, but by how deeply their roots remembered the light. Back then, people stood tall not because of their genes, but because they trusted their breath. The body wasn't ruled by calendars yet. It moved with its own inner energy, not afraid of the passing moons. But that memory got covered up by a simple idea that seemed true. Everything that lives has to grow old. And that's how the light started to disappear. Today, when a child has a birthday, we light candles to show they're getting older. But no one tells them that this tradition also marks their first agreement with aging. Old age spreads like a cultural virus, with every word, every diagnosis reminding us that time controls our bodies. But what if that's not true? What if it's not the years that make us wither, but losing touch with the light that fuels each cell? When my body started hurting for no reason, and I saw a tired face in the mirror that didn't match how I felt inside, I knew something was wrong. It wasn't time's weight. It was the fading of my inner light. Like most people, I had lived my life following what I was taught, eating what was normal, sleeping when I could, believing that aging was just how it had to be, until I met a monk with no name and clear, calm eyes. His skin was smooth, his posture strong, and his voice rang out like a bell through the fog. He told me, "The body doesn't age, it only responds to the vibration you send out every day." That meeting wasn't magic. It was a mirror reflecting a truth I had forgotten. Human biology is built to heal and renew itself. Skin replaces itself every 28 days, the liver every 5 months. DNA can fix itself. The tiny powerhouses in our cells, mitochondria, respond to high energy around them. But when that energy fades, when the light inside dims, then what we call aging begins. The problem isn't the body, it's the messages we feed it. From ancient Egyptian scrolls to old Indian wisdom, no one ever said aging was a punishment. Some ancient texts say the consciousness inside the body doesn't age, even if the body changes. And in a text where Jesus talks to his disciples, he says, "Don't fear the body, it's just a shadow, but watch out for the shadow in your mind." What does that mean? Aging starts not in the body, but in the vibration of our deepest beliefs. Science supports this with epigenetics, a field that studies how our environment and thoughts can turn genes on or off without changing our DNA. Cellular biologist Bruce Lipton says the environment you perceive and how you interpret it matters more than your genetics. Your cells react to what you believe is happening. This isn't just spiritual talk. It's modern science backing ancient wisdom. When you say, "It's too late for me," you send an electrical signal to your brain's hypothalamus. It reacts by releasing cortisol, which messes with melatonin and reduces your body's ability to heal while you sleep. Repeating negative thoughts becomes biology. Over time, this shapes your body. So aging isn't written in your genes. It's a language you've learned badly. Every cell is like a little lantern. How brightly it shines depends on the signal it gets. Your thoughts are orders, and what you tell yourself when you wake and before you sleep rewrites your body's blueprint. That's why some people look younger after falling in love or finding a purpose. It's not magic. It's a change in frequency. Many cultures know this. The Andean shamans say the body reflects the spirit. If the message is clear, the body shines. Medieval alchemists also believed that no disease starts in the body before it starts in the soul's vibration. So, going back to youth isn't about becoming a kid again. It's about reconnecting with the original light inside you before fear, noise, and conditioning got in the way. How do you relight that light? With words, habits, and beliefs. Each time we say, "I'm old now," we make a deal with matter. Each time we say, "This is too old for me," we close an energetic door. And when the system sells us creams and surgeries, it keeps us thinking the body needs outside help, when really, everything starts inside. A body full of light can't wither. It can change and grow older, but it won't fall apart if its energy stays strong and alive. The secret isn't to fight time, but to see that time doesn't have power over you. Are you ready to listen to your body like a wise teacher? It won't ask for surgery or pills. It just wants you to remember it and say every day, "I am alive." And you'll stay alive as long as your light shines, not as long as the calendar counts. You're not old. You're just out of focus. Aging shows disconnection, not the clock. When you really understand this with your whole being, the fire that once burned in your skin, your eyes, and your heart can come back. Because light never dies, it just waits to be lit again. Practical exercise. Reignite your inner light. Time, 7 minutes every morning after waking up. When you wake up, before checking your phone or talking to anyone, sit on the edge of your bed with your eyes closed. Put one hand on your heart and the other on your solar plexus, the center of your chest and stomach. Breathe deeply for 1 minute without changing your breathing. Just notice the air moving in and out. Then quietly or in your mind say, "I am not my years. I am the light shining through them. My body remembers how to shine. I look toward my light." Picture your cells lighting up one by one, like fireflies waking up in the dark. Feel a warm light growing from your chest. Don't force it. Just watch or imagine it. If you don't feel it, keep repeating the words with faith. Finish by saying, "Thank you, body, for waiting. I have returned." Do this every day for 21 days. Don't expect instant change. You're learning a new language. Light doesn't shout, but it always answers. Chapter 2. The Invisible Command. Thoughts that change your DNA. In a quiet monastery hidden in the mountains of Tibet, an old monk would say the same phrase before drinking water. May my thoughts nourish my cells. He didn't say this out of superstition or habit. He said it because he truly understood. In his long solitude, he realized that everything happening in the mind echoes in the body. Each thought isn't just an electrical signal. It's a vibrational command that cells follow without question. Outside, in the busy world, most people don't talk to their cells. They treat the body like a machine or a clock that will eventually stop working. But behind the scenes, a different story is happening. The body listens, not with ears, but through biochemical receptors that turn thoughts into real substances. Science agrees. Thanks to Can Despert, a pioneer in neuropeptides research, we know that emotions are actually molecules moving through your body. When you feel anger, gratitude, anxiety, or love, your body creates a chemical mix that affects your immune system, hormones, and nerves. Thoughts aren't harmless. They're like your body's own pharmacy. So, what kind of medicine have you been making with your thoughts all these years without even knowing it? When you say, I'm tired, or I can't do this anymore, or my body is old, you're not just describing how you feel. You're programming your body. Those charged words become signals that cells hear and follow. It's like every phrase you repeat engraves itself into your blood until it shows up as your skin, your heartbeat, your rhythm. In the Zohar, a key Jewish mystical text, it says, unspoken words live as shadows, but spoken words vibrate in the blood of the listener. This isn't just poetry. Modern science translates this. Every emotional thought you repeat builds stronger brain pathways that trigger hormones and create physical conditions. It's a cycle of thought, emotion, chemistry, and biology. Neuroscience's discovery of neuroplasticity shows that the brain is not fixed. It reshapes itself based on your repeated thoughts. What you repeat, you make permanent. What you make permanent, you live. When I was a kid, I was told my genes decided my fate, that if diseases ran in my family, I just had to accept them. But it didn't make sense. Why did siblings from the same parents end up so different? Why could one get sick and the other thrive, living in the same home? Later, I learned it's not just genetics. It's how your consciousness interacts with your genes. Of the 20,000 plus genes in your body, only about 5% are active at any time. The rest lie quiet, like books waiting on a shelf. What opens those books isn't medicine. It's the signals you send. Bruce Lipton puts it simply. Genes are blueprints, not orders. Your environment and how you interpret it decide which parts of your blueprint come alive. So, what are you building with your inner talk? Are you turning on genes that heal, or ones that fuel inflammation? Are you repeating old programs, or writing new ones with your own voice? Thoughts don't stay just in your head. They affect your immune system, hormone balance, and stress levels. Or, if coming from your soul, they can lead to healing, repair, and long life. Ancient wisdom says each mental vibration shapes the subtle body, and what happens there shows up in the physical body. Modern science agrees. Sustained emotions affect heart rate variability, a key sign of health and longevity. Think of your body like a musical instrument. Each thought is a note. If the note is off, it strains the strings and damages the instrument. But if the note is clear and in tune, the whole body vibrates in harmony. This harmony isn't magic. It's an electrical pattern science can measure. Longevity isn't luck. It's a discipline of energy. What about automatic thoughts? The ones that pop up without control. Are we stuck with them? Only if you believe your mind is the boss. Actually, the mind is just a confused servant that can be retrained. What you learned, you can unlearn. It's not about thinking happy thoughts, but about thinking with awareness, knowing your thoughts build your body, and each day you're either building a temple or a wall. A master in a northern Indian village once told me, "The body is the most obedient mirror. It never lies, it just waits for your deepest reflection." And here's a secret. Your DNA listens, not to words, but to emotions. When you say, "I'm coming back to life," with real feeling, your cells act differently. Your DNA folds differently. Dormant genes wake up. Important molecules increase, and your body begins to heal. This isn't guesswork. It's backed by studies in respected scientific journals. So thoughts are more than mind games. They're like bioengineering your body. How many years have you repeated thoughts that no longer help? How many times have you programmed yourself to wear down without realizing it? What if you change that signal? Not by forcing it, but by clearly directing your energy toward the health inside you, waiting for your permission. Because it's not about ignoring pain, but about stopping the emotional cycle that harms you. And planting new emotional seeds your body will turn into healing, function, and time. Your body listens. Your mind can change. Your emotions speak a language. And your consciousness is the conductor of this orchestra. When you get this, you don't age the same way anymore, because the one who knows they send signals starts choosing them, and the one who chooses starts healing. Practical exercise. Rewrite your cellular code with focused thought. Duration 10 minutes daily, morning or night. Find a quiet place and sit up straight. Place both hands on your chest. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, feeling the air move inside you. Then, silently or aloud, repeat for 3 minutes. My thoughts create my biology. My cells vibrate with life. I'm reprogramming my body with every bright idea. Notice how you feel. Don't think, just feel. When you finish, thank your body. Thank you for listening. I am the sender. You are the reflection. Do this for 21 days. This isn't just suggestion. It's retraining your vibration. Watch how your body responds as you become more aware. Chapter 3. The field that supports your body. Energy, aura, and resonance. It's not your blood, bones, or even your skin that truly supports your body. What really holds you up, long before your body even forms, is an invisible, intelligent energy field. Like water that supports a fish without the fish noticing, your body floats in an ocean of energy that sends, receives, and organizes information. Everything, health, sickness, healing, tiredness, starts here first, then shows up in the body like an echo. This energy field isn't just a metaphor. It can be measured, and the surprising part is that it reacts to your consciousness. Ancient Egyptians understood this clearly. They believed the physical body was just a dense shadow of the Ka, an energy form around us that could weaken from impulsive actions or negative thoughts. They knew protecting the body wasn't enough. You had to protect the light that surrounds it. In India, this energy system was shown as spinning wheels called chakras along the spine, each linked to emotions and states of mind. The Vedas teach that when one of these wheels gets stuck, life energy stops flowing, and illness eventually appears. Today, science is catching up. Since the 1990s, studies from places like the HeartMath Institute show that your heart creates an electromagnetic field thousands of times stronger than your brain's. This field can be detected over a meter away and changes with your emotions. Anger shrinks it. Gratitude makes it bigger. When your heart, breath, and feelings align, that's called coherence. It not only lifts your mood, but also strengthens your immune system, balances hormones, and boosts your energy. So what exactly is this field? Scientifically, it's shaped like a donut spinning inward and outward at the same time. Earth's magnetic field, the sun's energy, and the patterns of life itself follow this shape. Imagine a living spiral wrapping around you, picking up your feelings, making them stronger, then sending them back. If you live in fear, the field tightens and thickens. If you live in conscious love, it grows, vibrates higher, and helps your body heal. This isn't just spiritual talk. It's a sensitive biological technology. Once, when I stayed in a monastery in the Caucasus Mountains, a blind healer asked me to sit quietly by a freezing lake. "Don't look at the water," he said. "Listen to what you can't see." I closed my eyes and felt something new. A gentle pressure around my skin, like an invisible second skin holding me without touching. "That," he told me, "is your subtle body. When it's clear, the flesh heals itself. When it's blocked, disease follows." That's when I realized, disease doesn't start in the cells. It starts in the vibrations that feed those cells. For years, science mocked the idea of the aura, but now, with tools like Kirlian photography and GDV devices, we can see changing light around the body, shifting with emotions, pain, or intention. The most important fact is that this field changes all the time. You reshape it with your thoughts, clog it with what you hold inside, and clear it with honest feelings. How does it get blocked? By betrayals you never dealt with, repeated fears, decisions you forced yourself to make, and giving up. Every emotion you don't express becomes a knot that stops energy from flowing. Over time, those knots turn into stiff muscles, chronic pain, autoimmune issues, and unexplained inflammation. Medicine calls this idiopathic. Tradition calls it karmic. But really, it's all about vibration. Each energy center has its own frequency. The root chakra vibrates with safety or fear, the sacral with joy or repression, the solar plexus with power or submission, the heart with love or resentment, the throat with speaking out or silence, the third eye with vision or illusion, and the crown with connection or disconnection. When they spin in harmony, your energy field grows strong, your body feels younger, and your mind clears. But when any get blocked, imbalance slowly takes over. A man once came to me with mysterious upper back pain. No scan showed a cause. I asked what he hadn't said lately. He broke down, saying he'd hidden his truth for years to keep his family safe. As soon as he spoke, his pain eased. It wasn't magic. It was his field freeing itself, reorganizing once unblocked. So how do you strengthen this field? Not with charms or blind faith, but with presence, balance, and practice. Every time you breathe with awareness, your field expands. Every time you feel true gratitude, it clears. Every time you let go of grudges, it heals. Every time you love fully, it becomes a shield. You're an electromagnetic being wrapped in light. True youth isn't in your cells. It's in the energy that holds them. Before a wrinkle appears, there was a belief. Before inflammation, an emotional knot. Before illness, an energy imbalance. Real healing happens when your energy field is restored, not just your body treated. Can you feel it now? That gentle vibration behind your chest? That current that feels like it's from another world but lives inside you? That's your energy field telling you it can heal and reorganize. You don't need to see it. Just tune in, listen, and nurture it. When your field hums in harmony, your body can't help but follow, like a river flowing again after a drought. Then you realize it wasn't your body that aged. It was your energy field that quietly faded, and now it can shine again. Practical exercise. Reset your energy field. Duration, 8 minutes daily, ideally right after waking. Find a quiet spot. Sit up straight or lie down with your arms slightly spread. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. In for 5 seconds, out for 5 seconds. Picture a soft ball of light rising from the center of your chest each time you breathe in. As you breathe out, imagine that light growing bigger, first 10 inches, then a foot, then 3 feet around you. Silently repeat for about 3 minutes. My field is clear. My energy vibrates in harmony. My body follows my light. Stay still and just feel for a few more seconds. Let the energy do its work. Practice this every day for 2 weeks. Notice your emotions, your focus, and your energy. Your field will respond, and your body will follow. Chapter 4. Water remembers the secret code of cellular vibration. Since the beginning of time, water has been more than just an element. It's been a gateway, a witness, a mirror. The story of creation doesn't start with earth, fire, or sky. It begins with a spirit moving over the waters. And then God said, "Let there be light." But before the word, there was water. That's where the real mystery lives. Water doesn't just flow, it listens. When I first realized this, it wasn't in a lab or a temple. It was by an old well in Morocco. A wise woman with rough hands and steady eyes told me as she drew water, "Speak softly to it." Water responds like a child does to a mother's voice. At the time, I didn't fully understand. But years later, looking through a microscope, I knew she wasn't ignorant. She was wise. She had seen what science was just starting to discover. Water has memory. About 70% of your body is water, but that's not the whole story. In living tissues, water isn't like the water in a bottle. It's structured, something between a liquid and a solid, with special electromagnetic qualities. This water creates a crystal-like environment where proteins fold, DNA activates, and mitochondria breathe. Even more amazing, this water vibrates, and its vibration changes based on what you think and feel. Dr. Masaru Emoto, a Japanese scientist, was one of the first to show this. In his experiments, he exposed water to different words, music, and prayers. Then he froze the water and looked at it under a microscope. The results? Words like love, gratitude, and harmony formed beautiful, symmetrical crystals. Words like hate, anger, and contempt created broken, chaotic shapes. The voice of the Lord is over the waters, says Psalm 29. But maybe the voice of humans matters too. Maybe every word shapes the water we drink and the water we are. If this is true, and science like biophotonics and quantum physics of water start to prove it, then water isn't just a passive carrier. It's a vibrational mirror. Every word you say, even in your mind, rewrites the water inside your body, especially in places like your skin, intestines, and nervous system. Researcher Gerald Pollack at the University of Washington found that water inside our cells behaves differently than normal water. He calls it the exclusion zone, a special energy field where protons and electrons line up like they're listening to a melody. And that melody, it's your emotional state. Just like a river reflects the shape of its banks, the water in your body reflects your consciousness. But it goes deeper. Magnetic resonance studies show water reacts not only to sound, but also to intention. Intention creates an electromagnetic signal that water picks up. And since every cell lives in water, this intention becomes a real biological message. Not just symbolic or emotional, but physical. So, what if every time you put yourself down, you're actually distorting the water that holds you? What kind of patterns do you leave in your tissues when you call yourself stupid, old, or not good enough? The ancient Hermetic texts say the soul condenses into the body's water like breath on a mirror, visible only to those who know how to see. Water is the soul's channel, its messenger, its ink. That's why all cleansing rituals, from Christian baptism to Islamic washing to Ayurvedic baths, use water. Not because it's magical, but because water receives and holds energy. It's where spirit meets matter. So if external water can cleanse, imagine what your inner water can do when you give it the right vibration. Remember, you're not just talking to air, you're talking to the river inside you. And that river never forgets. It waits for you to send a better tune. That's why people sometimes seem to get younger when they change how they think. It's not just in their heads, it's water restructuring inside their bodies. Cells surrounded by loving vibration heal faster, make more collagen, and get rid of waste better. Scientists have even seen this in cell cultures. Tissues grow more evenly with harmonic sounds, and plants watered with mantra-charged water grow straighter and taller. But when water gets filled with heavy, negative thoughts, it gets stuck. It loses its perfect shape. That shows up as inflammation, swelling, stiffness. If that stays for years, it messes with DNA, changes gene activity, and can wake up hidden diseases. A sad phrase repeated over and over can send chemical signals that turn off genes for longevity and turn on genes for breakdown. But the opposite is true too. A loving phrase spoken with feeling can reset your body's molecular song. Water doesn't need you to believe in it. It just needs you to treat it like a living thing, because it is. And you are its home, its vessel. Are you ready to speak to it differently? If you start today, not with force, but with gentle intention, you'll notice changes. Not flashy miracles, but deep transformations. Your skin will glow, your eyes will brighten, your digestion will improve. Not because of a new diet, but because the secret code in every molecule of you has shifted. Your body is mostly water. And water remembers. Every word you say is heard in the deepest parts of your body. The question isn't if water remembers. It's what you're making it remember every day. Practical exercise. Charge your inner water with positive vibration. Duration, 5 minutes, best in the morning. Take a glass of clean water. Filtered or spring water works best. Hold it gently between your hands like something precious. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Then say out loud or quietly in your mind, "May this water remember my truth. May every drop be light. May every cell hear this vibration and heal." Feel your words filling the water with sound and energy. Then drink slowly and quietly. Do this for 7 days straight. Notice how your energy, focus, and skin feel. Bonus tip: you can do the same thing during your daily shower. As water runs over you, say softly, "This body is a sacred river. I cleanse, I restore, I remember." This isn't superstition, it's everyday science of vibration. Chapter 5. Sound as Medicine. How frequencies can reset your body. Long ago, before history was written down, temples weren't made of stone, they were made of sound. Their pillars were frequencies, their ceilings were harmonics, and the human body was the only visitor that could truly feel and respond to this sacred sound architecture. You didn't enter these places by walking, you entered by vibrating. And those who spoke the right sound left changed. This ancient knowledge still lives deep inside you. Even though modern science often ignores it, your body remembers. Sound doesn't just get heard, it rearranges you. Years ago, walking through a Tibetan monastery, I heard a deep, rhythmic chant. I didn't understand the words, but I felt my spine stretch and my skin tingle, even though no one touched me. It wasn't the lyrics, it was the sound itself. A monk leaned close and whispered, "What vibrates heals, what heals remembers, and what remembers doesn't age." What sounded like a poetic saying actually has scientific proof. Biophysicist Fabien Maman tested cancer cells with different musical notes. The results were amazing. Some sounds broke apart harmful cells, while others helped healthy cells grow stronger. Each cell, like a musical instrument, reacts differently to different notes. Our bodies never stop vibrating. Our skin, organs, and bones all respond to sound waves, not magic, but physics. Every atom moves constantly. Every organ sends and receives frequencies. When these frequencies get thrown off by trauma, emotions, or environment, the organ loses its balance. That's when illness shows up. But if you know how to retune, you can bring health back. Sound is shape. Cymatics, the science of sound shapes, has shown that certain frequencies can organize particles into clear geometric patterns. On metal plates with sand, low notes create random shapes, but harmonic notes create beautiful symmetrical patterns. If sound can organize sand, imagine what it does to your vibrating cells. For example, the 528 Hz frequency is known as the love frequency. It helps cells repair DNA and lowers oxidative stress. This isn't mystical. It's a real wavelength that syncs water molecules, parts of your brain, and your heartbeat. Another frequency, 432 Hz, is called the natural tuning of the universe. It calms the mind, lowers blood pressure, and improves brain balance. 396 Hz helps release guilt and fear, heavy emotions that, as we learned, cause inflammation and aging. These frequencies aren't magic. They're keys that unlock different parts of you. But the most powerful sound isn't from instruments. It's your own voice. The human voice is the oldest, most sacred instrument we have. Yet we rarely use it consciously. We sing to entertain, to cry, to pray, but not often to heal. In tantric texts it said, "Who knows how to use their voice needs no other medicine." This doesn't mean singing well. It means making sounds from your heart, from your core, with clear intention. When you do this, you don't just move air. You influence your immune system. Once, in a quiet ceremony, an elderly woman who hadn't spoken for weeks was asked to make a sound. At first, it was a whisper. Then it grew deeper, more open. At the end, she said she felt her body moving from inside for the first time in years. This wasn't psychology. It was healing through vibration. Vibration frees what the mind holds back. Ancient Egyptian teachers said initiates weren't known by what they knew, but by the tone of their voice. If the voice vibrated at the right frequency, the temple doors opened. This wasn't symbolic. It was real. Vibrational resonance between the body and sacred space. And you? You're a temple too. What frequency are you vibrating at? Every organ has its own note. The liver answers to A, the heart to C, the kidneys to F. Taoist medicine talked about this long ago. Today, vibrational medicine confirms it. Therapists use tuning forks, singing bowls, and voices to restore inner harmony. But you don't need a therapist to start. You just need intention and a moment of silence to hear your voice again. Your body remembers its notes. It's just waiting for you to remember them too. When you do, pain fades, skin glows, energy flows. Illness isn't the end. It's a call, and sound is the answer. Practical exercise. Sound vibration to reset your cells. Duration, 5 minutes daily. Find a quiet spot. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your heart and the other on your belly. Take 3 deep breaths. On your exhale, make a soft, steady sound like Nas. Feel the vibration in your chest. Continue for 2 minutes. Then switch to Bo and then Unum. Notice which sound feels best and stay with it for a few more minutes. When you finish, sit quietly and feel the echo of the sound inside you. Bonus tip. Record your voice and listen, not to judge, but to recognize your natural frequency. This sound is your energetic signature. Do this for 7 days in a row. Don't try to improve. Just tune in. Your body already knows the melody. It just needs to hear it again. Chapter 6. Breathing to Rebirth. The Power of Conscious Oxygen. Before you spoke your first word, you did something even older and more sacred. You breathed. That very first breath when you came into the world marked your arrival. And your last breath will mark your departure. Everything in between is a conversation between you and your breath. But most people don't really pay attention. They breathe without realizing they're breathing. Like someone living in a house who doesn't know about its foundation, millions go through life unaware that conscious breathing can heal what years of treatments could not. Breathing isn't just an automatic process. It's a forgotten tool for healing. It wasn't just spiritual teachers who understood this. Ancient healers, Himalayan yogis, Islamic alchemists, Taoist sages knew how to guide air through invisible channels, turning it into prana, a life force that flows through the body like a river, restoring it. The Atharva Veda says, "Where breath goes, the mind follows. Where the mind settles, the body heals." Today, science backs this up. Research on heart rate variability shows that slow, steady, conscious breathing creates harmony between the heart and brain. This harmony not only clears your mind, but also boosts your immune system, balances stress hormones, and helps repair your body. Breathing 6 times a minute, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, has been shown to increase DHEA, a hormone important for cell repair and longevity. This way of breathing isn't forced. It's a key to unlocking your body's natural design. Once, during a mountain retreat in Oaxaca, an 89-year-old woman with glowing skin and steady steps whispered to me, "I don't breathe like others. I drink the air like it's life itself." This wasn't just a metaphor. It was a real technique and a truth. I watched her by the river one morning, breathing in with her eyes closed, breathing out with a soft sound like a mantra. I realized then that how we breathe affects how we age. Oxygen doesn't just fill your lungs. It feeds your soul and transforms you. Shallow, quick chest breathing tells your body, "I'm in danger." This triggers your fight or flight response, releasing stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Digestion slows down, healing stops, cells tense up. The body survives, but it doesn't thrive. Deep, slow belly breathing, on the other hand, signals, "I'm safe." This activates your rest and repair system. Hormones balance out, feel-good chemicals like serotonin and endorphins flow, and your body starts healing itself. Your breath literally reprograms your biology. So how did we forget this? Because modern life is rushed and stressed. We fill our homes with food and water, but not with real breathing. It's not the air that's missing, it's the awareness of breath. Traditional Chinese medicine teaches that lungs don't just take in air, they filter the spirit of the sky. When lungs tighten from stress or trauma, the soul weakens. It's not age that dulls your skin. It's the lack of breath inside. Pranayama, the ancient practice of conscious breath control, isn't just for monks. It's for anyone wanting to come back to center. Techniques like alternate nostril breathing balance the brain's hemispheres, clear energy channels, and restore harmony in the body. Just a few minutes a day can reduce inflammation, improve focus, ease insomnia, and switch on genes that repair cells, all without pills, just by breathing fully. In the apocryphal Gospels, Jesus tells Thomas, "Unnoticed breath cannot save, but those who remember their first breath are reborn in life without dying." What this means is that conscious breathing is like a daily rebirth, not a show, but a ritual, a kind of alchemy. A woman with chronic fatigue started practicing 10 minutes of rhythmic breathing each morning. After 40 days, her skin glowed, digestion improved, and anxiety lessened. This wasn't placebo. It was smart oxygenation. Oxygen isn't just a gas. It carries light, and every cell waits for that light. You don't age because of your years. You age because of the air you don't fully take in. You refresh yourself when breathing becomes a sacred act. Breathe as if you're remembering you're alive. Exhale as if you're letting go of centuries of forgetting. Do this every day, not as a technique, but as a prayer in motion. The soul doesn't speak with words, it speaks in rhythm, and that rhythm is your breath, is your practical exercise. Quantum breathing for cell renewal. Duration, 7 minutes, morning or night. Find a quiet spot. Sit or lie down comfortably. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your heart, the other on your belly. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and rest without breathing for 4 counts. This is called box breathing. As you do this for 7 minutes, repeat quietly in your mind. With each breath, I awaken the light that sustains me. My body remembers how to be reborn. Practice this daily. Don't expect instant results. Expect harmony, because when your body hears the soul breathe, it answers. Chapter 7. Eating light, vibrational nutrition, and staying young. There was a time when people didn't eat just because they were hungry. They ate with meaning. Fruits were like sun songs, leaves were like green scriptures. Every food carried its own energy, and every meal was a special connection with the earth. Back then, people didn't think about calories or nutrients. They thought about prana, chi, and light. That way of eating isn't lost. It's still inside you, in your taste buds, your saliva, and your quiet stomach. It's waiting for you to remember. What you put in your mouth doesn't just feed you, it also shapes who you are. According to Ayurvedic teachings, what you eat becomes either consciousness or waste. There's no in-between. You either raise your energy with what you eat or you weigh yourself down. This idea is very old but also fits with modern science. We now know every food has its own electromagnetic energy. This energy interacts with your body's energy field, either helping it stay balanced or throwing it off. For example, tests show a fresh, pesticide-free apple vibrates between 65 and 70 Mhz, while processed meat vibrates below 40 Mhz. Food cooked with love and care raises its energy. Food made in a rush or with negative feelings lowers it. When you eat, you're not just eating matter. You're taking in history, feelings, and intention. And this matters because every cell in your body needs more than just vitamins. It needs good energy. When you eat food that's alive and full of light, your cells sync up. But if you eat food that's dead or dull, your cells lose their memory, and that's when aging starts. Some people eat very little but glow with health. Others eat a lot but seem to fade. It's not about how much you eat. It's about the quality of energy in your food. Food can heal, but it can also cause noise in your body. Traditional Chinese medicine says, digestion begins in the eyes. This means not only what you look at while eating, but also what you take in with your senses becomes part of your meal. If you eat while watching violent news, you're swallowing fear. If you eat quickly, you swallow anxiety. If you eat without being thankful, the energy in your food doesn't work. Fasting is often misunderstood as just skipping food. But it's really a time for your body to reset. It's not about suffering hunger. It's about letting your body focus on healing instead of always digesting. Research from neuroscientist Mark Matson shows that intermittent fasting starts processes like autophagy, cell cleanup, lowers inflammation, and helps your body use insulin better. What science hasn't said openly is that fasting also raises your body's energy. When you don't eat for a few hours with intention, your mind clears, your energy lifts. It's like your soul can take back control of your body. Ancient Vedic texts say the best food nourishes not just your body, but reminds your soul where it came from. Such food exists, living foods full of light and life, like ripe fruits, fresh greens, sprouted seeds, spring water, raw honey, and young shoots. These foods not only feed you but bring order to your cells. That order shows in your skin, your voice, your dreams. But eating well isn't enough. You have to eat mindfully. Eat slowly, in silence, noticing the texture, temperature, and feeling of your food. When you eat with full attention, food becomes a precise message for your body. A woman who struggled with anxiety said what helped her most wasn't supplements but a simple change. She stopped eating while using her phone. What seemed small was actually huge. She started chewing carefully, breathing between bites, and giving thanks. After 30 days, her body changed, not because of the food itself, but because of the way she received it. The energy field around your body can easily get out of balance, but can also reset quickly. One grateful bite can restore it. Eating is a ritual, or it should be. And what about the food you've eaten for years? The buildup of bad energy and emotions from fast, sad, soulless meals can weigh you down. Your body can cleanse itself, but not just by drinking green juices. It cleanses when you change your relationship with food, when you stop eating out of guilt, obligation, or escape, and start eating like someone who welcomes the universe's light in every bite. The master once said, "This bread is my body." He wasn't just talking religion. He meant that food can connect spirit and body. When you eat with awareness, food becomes a prayer, and your body becomes a temple. Digestion becomes a sacred act of connection. Eating is taking the world into you. What kind of world are you bringing in each day? One full of fear, noise, and rush? Or one full of light that grows in trees, flows in water, and sings in a fresh leaf? Staying young, like being healthy, doesn't depend on diets or formulas. It depends on matching what you eat with who you are. When you eat from your soul, your body knows and renews itself naturally. Practical exercise. Vibrational ritual for mindful eating. Spend 10 minutes during your next meal. Pick a living food, a ripe fruit, fresh leaf, or sprouted seed. Before you eat it, look at it quietly. Notice its shape, smell, and color. Hold it in your hands. Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and say quietly to yourself, "This food carries the light my body needs. I receive it with gratitude. I turn it into energy." Chew slowly, at least 15 times per bite. Feel the change in your mouth. Don't read, talk, or think about anything else. When you're done, put your hands on your belly and say, "Thank you, body. Thank you, earth. Thank you, consciousness." Do this once a day. After a week, you'll notice changes, not just in digestion, but in your energy, emotions, and mind. Your body follows the action but responds to your intention. Chapter 8. Sleeping in the Inner Temple. Sleep as a quantum lab. When you close your eyes at night, it feels like the world goes quiet. But that's just on the surface. Actually, the most important, mysterious, and least understood process begins. The soul's journey and your body's healing. Sleep isn't just a pause. It's a doorway. It's not just rest. It's a kind of lab. When you sleep, what you messed up in your mind during the day gets fixed by your body at night. And if you know how to work with it, you can be part of this amazing process. Getting good sleep isn't a luxury. It's a promise you make with a smart intelligence inside your body. In the ancient book of Enoch, it said that good people receive codes of fire during sleep, symbols that cleanse their body and renew their blood. Back then, few saw this as science, but now we know that during deep sleep, the brain connects with special frequencies that rebuild your body. During slow-wave sleep, brain waves slow down to between 0.5 and 4 hertz. similar to deep meditation and spiritual states. In this deep state, invisible healing happens. Growth hormones activate, damaged cells get cleaned up, tissues repair, and your immune system strengthens. Mystics say the soul gets messages from higher realms during sleep. Science agrees. People who don't sleep well age faster. Their stress hormone cortisol stays high, inflammation stays active, insulin works poorly, and cells lose communication. On the other hand, deep, balanced sleep, including REM and non-REM phases, triggers the release of melatonin, serotonin, and DHEA, hormones linked to longer life, healing, and emotional balance. Ancient Egyptians trained to enter lucid sleep, a state where you're still aware while your body rests. They believed this was when the inner spirit reveals itself. So sleep is more than closing your eyes. It's entering a sacred place where the physical body meets subtle energy. But how do most of us sleep today? Surrounded by screens, distractions, and restless thoughts. A busy mind can't sleep well. A worried soul can't rest. A tense body can't heal. Poor sleep isn't just tiredness. It's a disturbance in your body's energy. Harvard Medical School found that broken sleep harms cell repair more than bad diet or no exercise. Because your body can't run its nightly cleaning and healing if it can't reach certain sleep stages. Sleep doesn't happen in a straight line. It moves in cycles every 90 minutes. First relaxing, then reorganizing, then reprogramming. And if all goes well, starting fresh. And here's something rarely talked about. During sleep, the soul travels. This isn't just a metaphor. It's an energetic experience. While the body rests, your awareness separates from the physical form. That's why dreams can be meaningful, freeing, and revealing. What you dream isn't just imagination. It's the echo of where your soul has been. This was known by the Essenes, Sufi teachers, and described by the Swedish mystic Emanuel Swedenborg, who said the soul visits invisible worlds during sleep and brings back healing and wisdom. This isn't fantasy. It's a kind of vibrational alchemy across dimensions. So the question is, do you use sleep as a lab for healing, or do you just give in to tiredness? Sleeping consciously changes everything. When sleep is a deliberate act, the night becomes medicine. Every thought you have before sleep writes the story. Your soul will dream. Every feeling you bring to bed fills your energy field during the night. That's why bedtime rituals matter. A wise man from northern Iran once told me, "Never sleep without closing your day. Never enter sleep without crossing its threshold. The darkness you don't clear while awake becomes a shadow in your dreams." Since then, I've never slept the same way. Today, we know a simple routine: turning off screens an hour before bed, breathing slowly for 5 minutes, and softly saying a positive phrase. Increases melatonin, balances your stress system, and lowers nighttime cortisol. This isn't just belief. It's real neuroendocrine science. And when you add spiritual intention, it becomes true alchemy. The body rests, the soul remembers, and healing begins. During sleep, the body lets go of the world and returns to the source to refresh itself. A Gnostic text from Nag Hammadi says, "During sleep, the soul returns to the world from which it came and fills the body with new light." And you, how are you sleeping? It's not enough to just close your eyes. You have to open the temple inside. For that, you need silence, darkness, intention, and the courage to let go of anything you don't want to carry into the place where your body and spirit meet each night to decide if you will heal or break down. Do it with awareness. Do it like someone initiated into the mystery. Because every night can be your rebirth. Practical exercise. Quantum reprogramming night ritual. Duration, 10 minutes before bed. Turn off all bright lights and screens. Make your room completely dark. Sit on your bed. Close your eyes. Place your hands on your chest. Breathe slowly for 5 minutes. While you breathe, softly repeat, "My body enters its temple. Sleep repairs me. Light recodes me." Picture your body wrapped in a dark blue cloak of light. Say mentally, "Tonight my soul will remember, my body will heal, my energy will align." Lie down and let sleep come naturally. Don't force it. Extra tip: keep a glass of water by your bed. Before sleeping, gently blow on it and whisper a word like light or life. Drink it first thing in the morning. This seals your night's healing journey. Chapter 9. Closed Spiral Code, DNA Awakens. For hundreds of years, wise people sensed what science is just beginning to accept. The body isn't finished, its design isn't set in stone, and inside, every cell is a book waiting to be read. They called this book the soul, the inner fire, or the divine spark. Today, we call it DNA, but few realize this code isn't written in permanent ink. It lives, it beats, it listens, and what it hears, it turns into your body. You didn't inherit a fixed fate. You inherited a kind of musical score. And that score changes depending on how you see yourself, what you believe is possible, and what feelings you repeat every day. For a long time, scientists thought DNA was fixed and unchangeable. They talked about the selfish gene and a rigid code. But in recent decades, epigenetics has changed all that. Now we know genes don't control your future. They act like switches. They can be turned on or off by your environment, emotions, diet, and thoughts. Dr. Bruce Lipton, a leader in cellular biology, said it clearly. Environment is more powerful than genetics, and your biggest environment is your perception, how you see the world and yourself. That means when you live in harmony, gratitude, and high energy, genes that repair your body, boost immunity, and support longevity turn on. But if you stay stuck in heavy feelings, guilt, anger, fear, genes that cause inflammation, breakdown, and cell death get activated. Your DNA doesn't work alone. It responds to what you teach it to notice. What about the so-called junk DNA? The 95% once thought useless. Science now calls it non-coding DNA, though its exact role is still unclear. But ancient wisdom may have described it differently. In the Zohar, a key mystical text in Kabbalah, it says, "Inside people are hidden, sealed letters not spoken by the mouth but by the aligned soul." These hidden codes might be an ancient way of describing dormant DNA. They don't wake up from medicine, but from awareness and vibration. At the Learmat Institute, researchers tested human DNA by exposing it to emotions. When people held feelings of deep compassion, their DNA relaxed and unwound. When they felt fear or anger, their DNA tightened and compressed. This is huge. Your emotions physically change your DNA's shape. Your emotional energy shapes the spiral geometry of your genes. Every cell in your body has a spiral inside its nucleus, like a tiny quantum antenna. This spiral receives, translates, and stores information, not just genetic, but energetic too. Wise teachers through history agree. The soul inherits not only your parents' genes, but also energetic blocks passed down from your lineage. But your purpose isn't to repeat these blocks. It's to rise above them. Have you ever felt a hidden power inside you? A light waiting to shine? A fire yet to be lit? That's real. Your DNA waiting to be activated. Every new belief you hold with strength changes your DNA's expression. Deep meditation rearranges it. Heartfelt prayers light it up. The Upanishads say, a person becomes what they think about most. Think about sickness, and you become sick. Think about youth, and you grow stronger. Think about the eternal in you, and your code remembers its original design. That design doesn't sentence you to aging. It includes renewal as its law. But this law only activates with a consciousness that can hold it. During a retreat, a man with a serious genetic illness, expected to have a short life, started practicing cellular visualization. Every night he imagined his DNA as spirals of light, slowly turning, reordering, and vibrating perfectly. He didn't do it just with his mind, but from his soul. Months later, his health improved, his tissues healed, and his energy grew. It wasn't a miracle. It was reconnecting with his own power. Your DNA holds not only your past, it holds your potential. That dormant 95% is a multidimensional archive waiting for a higher command. You don't need technology outside yourself. You need inner harmony. How do you wake up that spiral? Not by force, but by steady vibration. Practices that create resonance. Deep meditation, honest affirmations, guided visualization, quiet presence, living foods, and mindful breathing. Anything that raises your frequency speaks your DNA's secret language. And that language isn't about thinking. It's about intention, feeling, and being present. When you enter states of unconditional love, deep gratitude, or sacred focus, your genes behave differently. It's like opening a sealed library. Your cells hear the music and say, "Finally, we can thrive." They thrive because spirit doesn't fight biology. It supports, organizes, and wakes it up. You inherited a body, yes, but even more, you inherited the power to rewrite it. Your DNA isn't a curse, it's a sacred map, and today you can choose to unlock it. Practical exercise, quantum activation of dormant DNA. Duration, 12 minutes before bed or upon waking. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly until your mind calms down. Picture a golden double helix spinning gently at your body's center, waking up. With each breath in, see the helix expand. With each breath out, release darkness, tension, and noise. Repeat quietly in your mind. My DNA vibrates in harmony. The original design of my body is awake. I remember who I always was. Stay like this for 12 minutes. When done, put your hands on your chest and softly say, "Thank you for opening. I am ready to be reborn." Do this daily for 21 days. Don't expect instant results. Just receive the changes. DNA responds not to pressure, but to steady vibration from one who lives as if already awake. Chapter 10. The image that creates you. Visualization and quantum rejuvenation. Before you were flesh, you were an image. Before you had skin, you were a vision. What you see outside is a reflection of what you've been imagining inside for years. You can't become something you don't know how to picture, because every form starts from an invisible mold. That mold is your imagination, not just a fantasy, but a kind of quantum blueprint. Your body reflects your main mental image, and every cell reacts not only to what you give it, but to what you show it. The 20th century mystic Neville Goddard said it well. Imagination is God, and God is the creator. Science now agrees in a different way. Brain scans show that when you vividly picture an action, like running, talking, or healing, the brain activates the same areas as if you were actually doing it. Mirror neurons fire, chemistry shifts, and connections strengthen. This isn't symbolic. It's real. Your body can't tell the difference between what you really do and what you vividly imagine. So what do you see when you close your eyes? Do you see a tired, worn-out body, damaged by life? Or do you see a being full of light, radiant and alive, vibrating in its original perfect design? What you see, you create. What you create, you keep alive. And what you keep alive becomes your reality. Many cases show people healing themselves through conscious visualization. People with chronic illnesses who imagine healthy bodies, clear blood, and strong immune systems start to show real improvements. Studies by Dr. Joe Dispenza and others prove that when the mind and heart are in sync, they create an electric and magnetic field that changes matter. This isn't a metaphor. It's science working in the human body. Imagine each image you hold in your mind is like a brush stroke on the canvas of your body. Every time you see yourself aging or broken, you reinforce that image. Every time you see yourself vibrant, healed, and alive, you send a different message to your DNA, hormones, and stem cells. Visualization isn't just a mental exercise. It's a powerful tool that works on your physical body. But to make it work, you must imagine not as someone hoping, but as someone remembering. The mind doesn't create from wishful thinking. It creates from knowing. That's why emotion matters. Without feeling, the image doesn't reach the body. Without energy, the vision stays just in your mind and doesn't affect your tissues. Ancient cultures knew this well. Egyptian priests visualized perfect shapes over their organs before sleep. Tibetan monks saw their spines as glowing pillars of light rising with each breath. Greek initiates viewed their bodies as temples of blue fire, and the body responded, because it's flexible, and its main pattern is what you deeply hold inside. In one private session, a 72-year-old woman showing signs of aging started practicing detailed visualization for 20 minutes a day. She imagined her tissues closing like flowers, her blood getting more oxygen, and her eyelids brightening. She saw each cell respond. After 3 months, her face changed, her energy grew, and her digestion improved. It wasn't surgery or pills. It was an image held with dedication. The brain is adaptable, the skin flexible, the cells obedient. But the mind has to give the right order. And that order doesn't come from complaints, fear, or guilt. It comes from loving vision, strong intention, and steady practice. You can't become what you don't know how to see. If you don't see it yet, it's because you forgot who you really are. When Jesus healed, he said, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." The word for faith here isn't just belief. It's pistis, an inner vision, a deep, lived trust. Seeing with the soul's eye. That kind of seeing is healing. Today, you can do the same. You don't need to picture some far-off future. You just need to see a different version of yourself. One that's whole, vibrant, and full of life. To start, close your eyes, breathe, and build the body you want to live in. Not from wishing, but from knowing. Use all your senses. Hear your clear voice, feel your living skin, see your healed spine, taste the freedom of carrying no past burdens, smell the freshness of a body renewed. Do it as someone who remembers, not just imagines, and your body will follow, because flesh responds to the vision that shapes it, and you are the architect of that vision. Practical exercise. Cellular visualization for natural rejuvenation. Duration, 15 minutes, either after waking or before sleeping. Sit up straight and close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, relaxing your body. Focus on the center of your chest. Picture your body as a glowing figure of light, standing tall and breathing easily. Mentally travel from your feet to your head. Imagine your cells opening like flowers, your tissues healing with flowing light, and your skin glowing from the inside out. Feel joy, gratitude, and love. Don't think "I will heal." Feel that you already have. Repeat quietly in your mind. I see the body that already vibrates within me. I support it, I live it, I am it. When finished, open your eyes slowly. Don't speak right away. Just feel the energy of the image you created. Do this every day for 21 days. Keep the image steady and gentle. Don't try to force or fix it. What you nurture with consistency will bloom in your body. Chapter 11. The silence that heals. Letting go to be renewed. The universe didn't start with a loud bang. It began with a quiet whisper. The very first sound of creation wasn't an explosion, but a tiny vibration that expanded everywhere. Before anything took shape, there was silence. In that silence, the intelligence that still keeps all life going was born. Your body knows this. Your soul remembers it. But your busy, noisy mind has forgotten. We fall asleep with screens on, wake up to alarms, eat with the news on, meditate with music playing, and often fear silence as if it were scary. But silence is actually the place where healing begins. When you empty yourself, you open the door to be restored. In the ancient Desert Fathers tradition, the practice called hesychia, meaning deep silence, was not about punishment, but a way to connect with the soul. They believed that those who truly entered silence could be touched by a light beyond words. This was more than meditation. It was shutting down all the mental noise to hear the original creative vibration of the universe, the Logos. In Hebrew, Logos means not just word, but the active force that shapes reality. You can only hear this Logos when everything else quiets down. Today, science is starting to see what monks knew. In deep mental silence, brain scans show active thinking waves fade away, while calming alpha and theta waves take over. When the brain reaches this peaceful state, the body's nervous system relaxes, blood pressure drops, breathing slows, and the body activates powerful repair processes like those during deep sleep. So, what is silence really? It's not just the absence of sound, it's the absence of interference. Interference is what wears us down. Emotional noise, mental chatter, and energetic disturbance. When that noise stops, not by pushing it away but by letting go, the body remembers its original design. Deep inside your brain is a structure that, when true silence is reached, turns off the body's defense mode and switches on healing programs, like in deep sleep. This isn't just any meditation. It's turning off the self, so the eternal life inside you can flow. You don't need to be in a special place to do this. It can happen right in your own room. But you have to make your space a quiet temple, free from distractions. Physics tells us that where there's interference, there's no harmony. Biology agrees. Your heart and brain only sync up when your emotions are calm. Earth's natural vibration, called the Schumann resonance, matches the brain waves of deep meditation. When you enter real silence, your body starts to tune in to the planet's natural pulse. This isn't just a nice idea. It's quantum neurobiology working in your spirit. Your body doesn't want more effort. It asks for rest. It asks you to stop pushing, stop thinking, stop labeling and judging. It asks you to just sit, breathe, and do nothing. For that doing nothing isn't emptiness but the fertile ground where healing begins. A man who had tried every treatment for years once asked a wise elder what else he should do. The elder said, "You've done enough. Now just be quiet, and the healing will come." And it did. In sustained silence, with no expectations, his body started to heal. Pain lessened. Sleepless nights ended. Not because he worked harder, but because he finally stopped interfering. You can do this too, but only if you surrender to the space inside. Stop doing. Open your soul. Let go of names and stories, and let mystery breathe within you. Silence isn't the end of your voice. It's the moment when the deepest wisdom speaks without words. Make silence your medicine. Make emptiness your teacher. Don't fill every quiet moment with words or distractions. The quantum field responds not to effort, but to being available. And nothing makes you more available than simply being for a moment. No story, no label, no agenda, just presence. Want to renew your body? Want to reset your energy? Then disappear for a moment, not into nothingness, but into formless presence. And your body will do what it's always known how to do. Return to perfect health. Practical exercise. Healing through silence. Duration, 15 minutes, ideally before dawn or before bed. Find a quiet spot free of noise. If not possible, use earplugs or soft white noise. Sit up straight, close your eyes, and place your hands on your heart. Don't try to meditate or repeat anything. Just watch your breath. Don't try to control it. When a thought comes, imagine it as a leaf floating down a river. Let it go. If an emotion comes up, don't push it away. Simply feel it without making a story. Don't look for visions or expect anything. Just be empty, like a bowl waiting to be filled by something you can't name. When you finish, stay still for 2 more minutes before slowly opening your eyes. Practice this daily for 2 weeks. Not to achieve something, but to help your inner field come home. Because where there is silence, light remembers. Chapter 12. Your purpose keeps you young. The inner fire as biology. Your soul doesn't really age. It fades. And when it fades too much, it falls away like dried leaves in autumn. This isn't because time forces it, but because without meaning, it slowly dies out. Your skin loses its glow when you stop wanting to see the world. Your heart beats slower when there's nothing to make it move with purpose. Your bones ache when your soul waits too long for something that will never come. Nothing heals the body better than having a real reason to keep going. There's no better medicine than a burning why in your chest. For years, people looked outside themselves for ways to live longer. Diets, vitamins, genetics, exercise. But even modern science agrees on one clear truth. People who live longer and healthier don't always have the strongest bodies. They have strong reasons to live. A University of California study with over 7,000 participants found that those with a clear life purpose had 43% lower risk of serious diseases and were 70% more likely to keep healthy habits. Not because of willpower, but because of an inner fire. That fire isn't visible, but it affects your biology. When you live with meaning, your hormones respond. Your pituitary gland controls stress better. Your nervous system shifts from fight or flight to deep repair. Your immune system gets stronger. Your body starts to grow and heal. Viktor Frankl, a neurologist and Holocaust survivor, noticed something powerful. People who had a reason to live, whether a mission, a loved one to care for, or something to accomplish, were more likely to survive extreme hardship. They had strength even without food, even close to death. If that's true in extreme conditions, think how much your life now can improve. Have you noticed that the wisest, most active older people always have something calling them? A garden, a hobby, a grandchild, a book to finish. Fire doesn't burn out over time. It keeps burning because there's always something to light it. In Okinawa, a famous blue zone where many people live past 100 in good health, there's a special word, ikigai. It doesn't mean happiness, it means a reason to get up every morning. Studies measuring their health found that those with ikigai looked biologically like people 20 years younger, not because they meditated or were vegetarians, but because they had a clear life purpose. That purpose kept their biology in balance. When the soul has no mission, it doesn't die, it just pauses. And while it pauses, the body ages faster. What good is a body without direction? A body without voice? Youth needs a current pushing it forward. That current comes from deep inside, when the soul remembers its dance isn't over yet. You don't have to save the world. Just light a small flame in your day, a song you haven't sung, a lesson you haven't shared, a laugh you've held back. Any purpose, no matter how small, changes your hormones. It's not just emotion. It's biology working with the soul. A 94-year-old man's doctor worried about his bones. The man said, "I can't get sick. My great-granddaughter wants me to teach her violin." Later tests showed he had low inflammation and sharp thinking for his age. Why? Because his body followed his soul, and his soul kept moving forward. Gnostic texts say, when the soul forgets its purpose, the body becomes a ruin. But they also say, those who rekindle their spark can rebuild the temple. You haven't lost your youth. You might have just lost your flame. You find that flame again when you ask one honest question. What am I here for right now? Don't look for a big answer. Find the one that makes your chest burn, that feels like the whole universe is saying, this is it. This is why you're still here. Make that purpose your medicine. Make your calling your oxygen. Make your task, even a small one, your way to renew yourself. Because what moves you keeps you alive. What keeps you alive makes you young. Practical exercise. Ignite your biological purpose. Duration, 20 minutes, either after waking or before bed. Sit quietly with a notebook and pen nearby. Take 3 deep breaths. Write this question down. What would light me up today, even if no one else sees it? Jot down any answers without judging them. It could be caring for a plant, writing a letter, finishing a project, teaching something, or singing a song you've kept inside. Pick just one. Say to yourself, this flame is mine. I'll feed it with intention. I'll honor it with action. Do that action the same day. Make it a ritual, your medicine. Notice how your body responds. Repeat daily for 2 weeks, because when your soul lights up, your body has no choice but to follow. Chapter 13. Healing Time. Emotional wounds and biological aging. It's not time itself that ages your body. It's the emotional weight your soul carries through time. A calendar year isn't what really counts. Your body's real age is measured by the memories held in your cells. Your skin doesn't remember how many birthdays you've had, but it does remember the pain of abandonment you never dealt with. Your immune system doesn't count years. It reacts to sadness you never allowed yourself to feel. Your digestive system doesn't track decades, but it gets inflamed when you hold on to past hurts and unforgiven wrongs. The past only stops affecting you when you let it go from your body, and as long as it stays inside, it keeps aging your flesh. Research by Dr. Ken Despert, a leading neuroscientist studying emotions in the body, found that feelings like anger, guilt, fear, or abandonment cause your body to release special molecules called neuropeptides. These molecules travel through your blood and get stored in your tissues, especially where your body is already weak or overloaded. If these molecules aren't released, they build up over time and cause low-level inflammation, autoimmune problems, chronic tiredness, and early aging. Every unexpressed emotion becomes a knot, not just in your mind, but also in your muscles, digestive system, lymph nodes, and even your mitochondria. These emotional knots can speed up your biological clock. That's why some 45-year-olds have bodies like they're 70, while some 70-year-olds have the cells of a 40-year-old. It's not magic, it's cellular memory. And the good news is, memories can be rewritten. In traditional Chinese medicine, the liver ages faster when you hold on to resentment. Ayurvedic medicine says your blood vessels lose energy when sadness stays trapped inside. Modern bioenergetics tells us that the gut, our second brain, shrinks when fear isn't released. But all these traditions agree. When you let go of trapped emotions, your body starts to heal and feel young again. For example, a 61-year-old woman with bad arthritis remembered a time in her teens when she was publicly humiliated, something she'd never talked about before. When she finally allowed herself to feel that memory, crying, trembling and all, something shifted. Her face softened, Her pain eased over the following weeks. Digestion got better, and her energy returned. This wasn't magic. It was the body releasing time stuck inside it. So how do you release time? Not by forgetting, but by being fully present. Your body doesn't need you to erase the past. It needs you to feel it with new understanding, without judgment, without reliving the pain. When you see your past in new light, your body lets go of built-up tension, and suddenly your tissues can breathe again. Gnostic texts say, "The soul doesn't die from the wound, but from the cycle left unhealed." Only those who heal their time can become young again, in spirit and body. Trauma isn't the event itself. It's the echo that keeps vibrating in your body years later. Healing isn't just about how you look. It's about freeing the time your body holds on to. Studies of telomeres, the tips of DNA that show how much life your cells have left, prove this. People who meditate regularly, forgive actively, and express their emotions consciously have longer telomeres. That means their cells live longer and renew better. Emotional and vibrational time affects your cells directly. So every time you hold on to an emotion, tell the same story without letting it go, or carry a burden that isn't yours, you age faster. But every time you release it, breathe through the pain, and bless the wound, you renew yourself. Not with creams or surgery, but with honest healing. Forgiving isn't forgetting. It's turning off the biological reaction your past triggers every day. When you do this, your body knows there's no threat. Inflammation drops, oxygen flows, and light returns. You can't change the past, but you can stop letting it control your nervous system. When that happens, your body lives in the present, and the present is always young. Practical exercise. Releasing cellular memory. Duration, 20 minutes. Best done at night after strong emotions. Sit quietly and close your eyes. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Take 5 deep breaths. Think of a painful memory you haven't fully healed. Don't analyze it. Just feel it. Notice where in your body you feel it. Your chest, throat, stomach, or back. Focus your attention there and say quietly in your mind, "I see you. I hear you." You can rest now. Take 10 more deep breaths, imagining that area glowing and letting go. Whisper to yourself, "I am not this story. I am the presence that frees it." Repeat this with different memories over several days. Don't force it or try to forget. Just stay present with whatever comes until it changes. Remember, the past isn't erased. It's rearranged through present awareness. Chapter 14. Your identity reprograms you. You are what you repeat every day. Your body doesn't just live inside you. You live inside your beliefs about yourself, in the story you quietly tell yourself. You're not just flesh trapped by your genes. You're a story shaped into form. That story, the I am statements you say without even realizing it, is the blueprint that builds or breaks down your body. Your body doesn't age first because of your cells. It ages because the identity that holds it becomes stuck, worn out, or without hope. Every visible thing follows an invisible pattern, and the strongest pattern is your inner self-talk. I am clumsy. I am weak. I am old. I am anxious. Every one of these I am statements is an order your body accepts without question. Your liver hears it. Your skin feels it. Your cells obey it. What seems like just a thought becomes your reality. Ancient Vedic texts called the Upanishads teach a simple truth. We become what we focus on, and what we focus on lives in our breath. That breath carries your identity's energy into every cell. If you breathe thinking you're fragile, you feed weakness. But if you breathe knowing you are timeless, you bring youth to life. Modern science backs this up. Your constant inner voice changes brain chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, and cortisol. The words you use to describe yourself control your immune system, hormones, and healing power. A study at the University of Jay found that people who believed negative things about themselves had more inflammation, faster aging of key stress systems, and shorter telomeres, the ends of DNA that show cell age. But those who embraced new positive identities showed better cell repair, more brain flexibility, and healthier gene expression. So the real question isn't, who am I? But, what am I telling myself every day without even noticing that it's shaping me? Your I am is more than words. It's a deep vibration. It's the password that unlocks or locks your body's systems. That's why changing your identity isn't just changing an idea. It's changing the energy pattern that builds your body. And when that pattern changes, your body, organs, and nervous system shift to match it. A man once told me, "My dad died of cancer at 60. I have his genes. I'm doomed." I said, "You didn't just inherit genes, you inherited an I am." As long as he kept saying, "I'm doomed," his body followed. Then he started saying, not from hope, but from decision, "I am renewal. I am free. I am a new line." It wasn't magic. It was repeating a new vibration until his body responded, and his health slowly got better. In the Bible, God's name is unpronounceable, not because it's forbidden, but because it comes from simply being. When Moses asked who was speaking from the burning bush, the answer was, "I am who I am." That's not just a name, it's a formula. Naming yourself is creating yourself. You create from I am, and what you say shapes your world, your body, and your age. Limits don't come from the body. They come from an old identity that hasn't been updated. The body doesn't want to age. It just follows the I am old. It hears every day without change. You can stop that order right now with a new I am. So ask yourself honestly, what do I tell myself every day that shapes my body? What do I say when no one's listening? What secret name do I use when I'm alone? That is the foundation of your body's form, and only you can change it. Youth isn't an age. It's a cellular identity held by language. Changing how you speak to yourself changes how your body ages. Every new word sends a spark that redraws your body's map. Make your identity your medicine. Practical exercise. Rewrite your biological I am. Duration. 15 minutes daily, best right after waking or before sleeping. Sit in front of a mirror or quietly with your eyes closed. Write down the I am statements you've been repeating for years, like I am slow, I am weak, I am forgetful, I am old. Read them out loud. Feel how heavy they are. Cross each one out and write a new, positive I am next to it. Like I am focused energy. I am sacred memory. I am healing. I am young light. Close your eyes, place both hands on your chest, and say the new I am 3 times, feeling it as if it's already true. Hold that feeling for 3 minutes. Breathe with it. Picture your body responding, blood flowing better, skin glowing, organs realigning. When you're done, thank your body for listening silently. Do this every day for 21 days. Identity needs steady vibration to become real. Remember, healing doesn't come from repeating empty words. It comes from repeating with your soul what you truly are until your body remembers. Chapter 15. The soul is immune to time. Transcending age through awareness. You've been born many times without even realizing it. You've grown old before your time without knowing why. You felt the weight of years on your skin, not because of the actual years, but because of the story you keep telling yourself. This is the final step, where body and soul meet and recognize each other, not as enemies, but as reflections aware of one another. Here the journey ends and real change begins. If you've come this far, you must understand, you were never really your age. You are the biological expression of an idea held over time. The soul doesn't have a clock. It doesn't wear out, wrinkle, or die. The awareness inside it is timeless, not because it ignores time, but because it rises above it from within. Your body, on the other hand, has been trained to obey clocks, not because it has to, but because it was programmed that way. Every time you say to yourself, "You're young, you're old, you can't do this anymore," or "It's too late for you," those words become silent commands your body follows without question. But Orlet, the forgotten wise one, the immortal rebel, the alchemist of the unspoken, left one last teaching. You don't age because of your body. You age because you unconsciously agree with a certain idea about time. Break that agreement, and your body remembers what your soul never forgot. That's what this book has done. Step by step, word by word, breath by breath. It broke that pact. Now you know. You breathe light, you picture form, you think in frequencies, you feel structure, and all of that shapes your body. Age isn't a number. It's a frequency hidden in your consciousness, and like any frequency, it can be changed, tuned, and reset. How? Through the 7 tools of the soul you've learned here. Thought that shapes energy, emotion that grows it, words that direct form, breath that feeds it, images that build it, silence that organizes it, and purpose that holds it together. When these 7 work together in harmony, the body stops breaking down and starts rising. Not because of magic, but because of a new awareness your body follows like a quantum law. A recent study in cell metabolism showed that adults over 60 can reverse signs of aging in just weeks by changing habits that affect their nervous system, how they see time, and how intentional they are in life. Scientists call this active epigenetic rejuvenation, but what they couldn't explain was why it only worked for those who still felt they had something important to do. That is where the soul lives, where the fire burns that answers only to its own inner light. You don't get younger just by doing youthful things. You get younger by shifting your awareness away from the old identity that aged, and placing it where your soul vibrates freely, where your body follows its highest vision of itself, where you no longer believe what you were told, but what you feel you can still grow into. When Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is within you," he wasn't talking about some faraway place in the sky. He was talking about the place where there is no time, where what you are and what you know yourself to be are one. That kingdom has no age. When you step into it, age loses its hold. Today, you can choose to live in that kingdom, not just believe it, but actually be it. Let go of the idea that time moves forward and you have to keep up. Hold instead the certainty that time is what you make it. If you vibrate with youth, growth, and balance, time will yield to you. You won't be young or old. You'll be in tune, fully present, energetically awake and open, and your body, seeing that you no longer define it by decay, will start to thrive again. Orlet wrote in his last notes, "There is no true age outside the one you choose to hold. Everything else is just borrowed clothes. When you let those go, you'll shine again." And you, reader, are here not just to learn more, but to choose. Because now you know. The soul doesn't age, and you are the soul remembering how to redesign your body. Final exercise, declare your new self. Duration, 15 minutes every morning when you wake up. Sit quietly with your eyes closed. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, breathe out for 4. Repeat this 3 times. Picture your body as light floating in a timeless space. Slowly say out loud, "I am the awareness that reshapes my body. I am the light my body listens to. I am youth without age. I am presence beyond time." Stay still for 5 minutes and feel your body accepting this new program. Give thanks, breathe deeply, and get up knowing your body has heard you. Do this daily, not as just words, but as a felt truth, because you don't need more knowledge. You just need to live what you already know. Your age is not a limit. It's a signal that can be changed. Every cell in your body waits for a new command, and that command doesn't come from outside, but from your inner voice, your deep silence, your burning fire. You've remembered who you are. Now it's time for your body to remember too.